So today we're going to be answering a question that came to me from a very good friend of mine through Instagram. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, why is your good friend asking you a question via Instagram? Why aren't they just texting it or just calling you directly? You got a really good point. Why didn't you just call or text me? Anyway, that's not important. What is important is that she's nearing the end of her lease and she's wondering if she should just buy it or return it, get another Jeep, or buy it, trade it in, and get a different car altogether. Some of you might be aware that some lease companies aren't allowing for the dealership to buy your car directly. You have to actually buy the car from the lease company, then sell it to the dealership once you actually have the title in your hand. Some companies are allowing, some companies are not allowing for dealers to purchase the car directly for what you can buy it for from them, or if they are, some of them are charging a different price. However, her question, she said, "Hey Ari, I don't know if you do the consulting thing anymore, but I was wondering if I could pick your brain real quick about Jeep stuff. I don't know anything about cars. I have like 14 months left on my Compass lease, and I got an email saying there's something called a Stellantis program where they waive 18 payments and I can get a new one, and it should be custom ordered." Sorry, I know I butchered that. "There's a chip shortage, etc. So I don't know what the best next move would be, especially with the car shortage. They said this Compass would be like $16,500 to buy at the end of the lease, but it's kind of small for toting around kids." She said, "I'm not opposed to another Jeep because I did like it, especially for winter. Was good on gas too. Just thought the backseat and trunk space was kind of tight. They recommended I come check out a Cherokee, but I'm not sure how any of this stuff works, like if I wanted to expand my options beyond Jeep. And if it would be a wise decision to just lease again or buy with the current car market, if that makes sense." So while I was recording this, I realized I didn't ask her what her 10-day payoff amount is. Your 10-day payoff is a little bit different than your buyout amount. So your residual value and your 10-day payoff are a little bit different from each other. And how I can explain that is that your residual value is what the car is going to be worth at the end of the lease for you to buy it from the lease company. What your 10-day payoff is that amount plus any additional payments you've got remaining, plus whatever the purchase option fee is for that bank. Usually they'll charge like $400 so that you can buy it or return it. So basically you got to pay $400 on top of the buyout amount regardless. However, the 10-day payoff amount is going to be either the same or different in most circumstances if you're buying it or if a dealership is going to be buying it directly from the bank. That's why a lot of people, when CarMax stopped being able to buy cars directly from banks, they were basically telling customers, "Hey, you got to buy this car and then sell it to us, because the bank that you're leasing the car out from is no longer allowing banks to buy the car from them, or they're not giving us the same price that they're giving you. They're charging us fair market value for the vehicle." So to my friend, you got to find out from Ally Bank what their 10-day payoff amount is, including those 14 payments and any other fees or taxes or anything like that you might owe on the car. And that way you can compare that cost, that value, against what we're going to be talking about in this video. She's got about 22,000 miles, and she gave me her VIN. We're going to be running it through onto a couple of different places that I check out to figure out, is the car worth it to buy at the end of the lease, or should you just trade it in altogether? I'm very excited to make this video. It's going to be kind of like crazy, not in a bad way, cool setup, and I'm going to be switching over to my laptop and showing you exactly how to go about finding this out. At any point during this video, you can click the link in the description below or right here, and you'll be able to log on to negotiationguides.com, where you'll be able to connect with dealerships in your local area so that you can get new and used vehicle pricing. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, because this whole channel is going to fill you up, is going to give you everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. You guys, let's get down to business. Click the subscribe button, will you? All right, so First and foremost, the most important thing you got to figure out if you should buy out your car from the lease company. First and foremost, do you even like the car? Can you see yourself driving this thing for the next few years? Why? Why? Because you're probably thinking to yourself, hell, I don't even like this car. Why am I buying it? If the cost difference is drastic, or you're going to be making literally zero money by buying your car from the lease company and trading it in for a different car, and hell, it's going to be costing you a ton of money to do this, just return the car at the end of the lease. Don't do anything with the car. Just return it. However, a lot of you might be in a position where the vehicle is profitable for you to buy at the end of the lease and trade it in. In those circumstances, yeah, you could have some equity that you could apply towards a different car. But if you're thinking about keeping it all together, even if the cost difference is very, very large, like let's say it's 2, 3, 4 grand, as opposed to, trading it in, you keeping the vehicle is going to save you this much money, and you really don't like the car, I wouldn't even keep it. A lot of people are buying out their lease just because they have no other viable option in that same price range for the lease payment, but they hate their car. Why would you do that? I just still couldn't wrap my head around this. If you don't like the car, definitely give it back. Or if the car doesn't work, give it back. All right, so before you dive into the next step, before you go on and try and figure out exactly how much your car is going for on the retail side of things or even the private market side of things, you got to ask the question, how bad is the car right now? How honest would you be to yourself if they asked you a question saying, what kind of condition is the car in? Is it excellent? Does it have some excess wear and tear that you're probably going to get charged for? Does it have a ton of miles? Does it have an accident report? Is the biggest one. If it has an accident report and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I could buy this thing for this price and I'll be saving a decent amount of money by doing that, you're kind of kicking yourself in the ass down the line because they're going to see that the car has an accident report on it and you're going to lose a ton of value on the vehicle later on. So calculate this into your whole equation as to whether or not it would be a stupid thing to buy the car now, save a little bit of money, but have a hell of a hard time trying to sell it in 3 years from now because nobody wants a Jeep Compass that's had a front end collision on it. Trust me. Next, let's research the car a little bit. Let's try to figure out how reliable this car is going to be in a few years. Not just only how reliable this car is going to be, but how often are they changing this thing? How often are they redesigning it? Is it already 2 body styles old? If it's not being redesigned too often and you see yourself driving it, you like it, let's check the complaints via carcomplaints.com. Let's see exactly what people are complaining about on this thing. This is a super, super important question. And hell, while we're here, before we jump into the next section, let's go on to carcomplaints.com and let's see what people are complaining about the Jeep Compass, especially for the 2021 year. Got my laptop handy. We're about to log on right now and check out to see what Car Complaints is saying, and then we'll go on and try to figure out if this car is even worth buying for you. All right, so we're here and we're on the laptop. We are going to figure out exactly if this car is going to give us some trouble in a few years. I'm not going to just check out 2021s. I'm going to probably check out 2019s as well. Let's check out carcomplaints.com and let's see exactly what this Jeep is going to treat us like. So we've got the Jeep and we're looking at the Compass. Let's check out the 2018 because that seems like a lot of people are complaining about for that year. We got 1,000 complaints up here. Wow. Okay. What seems to be the issue? Excessive oil consumption. Shuts down while driving. Oof. Stop saying this ad. We got car acceleration and restricted and jerky. NHTSA, the engine. Okay. Crashes 8, fires 2. So we've got multiple people complaining here. You can see
consuming oil at an alarming rate. Oh, wow. All right, let's go and check out to see some other issues. Shuts down while driving. While driving, the engine shuts down and the e-brake comes on. Oh boy. And because you're probably not even aware of the oil depleting as rapidly, this may happen during driving, but this is on 2018s. Maybe they fixed the issue. Let's check out and see what 2021s or 2020s are looking like. They have no complaints registered for 2021s. For 2020s, we do still see some engine problems, two of which are the engine shuts off while driving. The NHTSA has issued complaints as well. We're going, the coolant gauge on the dashboard shot up, we went back down, engine shut off. This seems like a very, very common issue.
So it seems as though that this car may not be worth buying based off of what I just saw on carcomplaints.com. I hope that that's not the case right now. If it is the case right now, at least try and see what Jeep is saying under warranty, because this could be a little bit issue once it reaches 36,000 miles. Actually, no, I think they do a 5-year, 60,000 mile powertrain warranty, but it could be something different than the powertrain. So I would suggest definitely getting that looked into. Now, is it worth buying off of Lease altogether, or should you just consider buying it and trading it in, or just trade it in, or just drop it off rather to the dealership once the lease is done and just pay Ally their disposition fee? Let's check that out. Back on the Zoom cam, we're going to go on and check out to see on KBB exactly what this car is worth. Price out my car's value. We are going to enter per VIN. Or actually, you know what? For right now, we'll just do this. We'll enter in 2021 Jeep Compass with 22,000 miles. 02472 is my zip. And I can also show you her window sticker here as well, so you can match up options to the actual prices that I'm seeing on KBB. Latitude. Select my options. We've got the 9-speed. We've definitely got heated seats.
So it's saying that the trade-in value of the car is about $21,950.
If she were to pull the buyout amount right now and compare it against what it's currently going for as a trade-in value, she could actually potentially make some money simply just by trading it in. However, we're going to try and figure out right now what it's worth live right now if she were to sort of sell it to CarMax or sell it to another dealership, what they're offering for this vehicle. Coming back down here now. So
I'm actually going to check out to see what her car is going for on CarMax.com. We're going to check out 2020, I would say 2020s as well, maybe 2020 to 2022. They've got 3 matches, so we're talking about $28,000, $29,000, $30,000. We check out maybe some 2019s. We are still definitely very much in the 28s, 25s for a limited. Compass Sport 26. I think that this car is probably going to go for, right now at least, it's probably going to sell for right around like $27,000, $28,000 at a minimum, probably $32,000 at its high. Private party value, according to KBB, is about $24,000, $25,000 on average. However, let's just check out to see what Cars.com is saying Jeep dealers are selling this car for nationwide. All miles from me, we're going to be selecting the Latitude, and we're going to be doing only 2020s and up for this one. And we're going to quickly find out what the lowest price is that's currently available in the United States. It's looking like $18,000. Wonder what the Carfax is going to tell us. Not available. Let's go down to the next one. 67,000 miles. We got 20,000. All right, so let's reduce the miles a little bit more because it seems like we've also got some high mileage ones in here as well. We'll reduce it down and see what 40,000 or less miles are going for. We're talking about 22,000 to roughly about 37,600 for a used, but has about 6,000 miles on it. So I'm going to go right in between. If we're on currently about on page 6, I want to see what page 3 and page 4 is listing off. Talking about 31.5, 31.4, 31. We're talking about $31,000 this car is going for on the used market.
Now we're going to figure out what CarMax, Carvana, Vroom, what these third parties are offering for the car.
So we're going to go on to CarMax.com and we're going to go sell/trade and enter in her VIN number for the car. Her VIN is 3C4NJD. All right, now we're going to see what this car is going for on CarMax, as in what CarMax is buying the car for. We got an automatic 4-wheel drive. We've got, I don't know if she has the convenience group. She's got a convenience package on this thing, heated steering wheel. She's got power seat, single. Crazy that they do this. 22,000 miles. Has the car been in an accident? No. Frame damage? No. $22,000. Basically, whatever that they're going for on the used market at its lowest. Now, similarly, if we got Carvana also doing the same thing, we're going to click sell trade, enter in our VIN, and I'm going to enter it, and we're going to skip that part. There we go. Carvana offering 20,243. Lastly, we're going to do this with Vroom, but we're going to skip ahead. And Vroom gave us $5,000. Not sure why.
So we're seeing trade-in values anywhere between 20,000 roughly to 22,000 from these third parties. Sort of curious what your buyout amount is currently, if it's like say 18,000 or 19,000 right now after all is said and done, including taxes, including everything, and they're buying the car for like 22, you could make about $3,000 without actually having to do anything. Just buy the car and sell it to CarMax. You obviously have to do something. You got to buy the car and sell it. However, that means that you could profit off of the car $3,000 by doing all this. Now, if you're wondering if you should now get this car and keep it, refer to the steps before this. But now if you're wondering if you should buy the car, sell it to the Jeep dealership and release another car, here's the deal. Right now, Jeep is offering, and let's go back down here, Brazen.
They're offering the Compass for, guess what? $229 a month for 36 months. But we've got a disclaimer here. We've got $6,000 total due at lease signing. It's for Latitude. We've got an MSRP of $34,000, probably similar to what you had. Maybe a little bit more, but whatever. And the $6,000 is not including the dealer's fees. So if we were to do this just as like quick math or whatever, the 229 rather is not including tax.
You got to put down $6,000. So assuming basically you're taking out the $6,000 and we're adding in your state sales tax to the lease payment, it brings us to the following. Just backwards here from the ad, by the way. We've got $6,000 divided by 36. That's $166 a month that we've got to add into the payment because we're actually taking the $6,000 off from the down payment, which serves as a cap cost reduction or something to bring down the cost of the lease. We add 166 to 229, and we've got $395 a month for this lease, assuming that they sell it at the price listed in the disclosure. And that's 36 months, 10,000 miles. I'm positive you're probably paying way less than this right now. Or if the dealership decides to mark up the car by quite a bit, let's call it $3,000. Divide that by 36, you got $83, $395 plus 83 makes 478. 478 is not including sales tax. So basically, you get your 10-day payoff amount, you do all these steps that I just listed off, and you try and figure out, is it worth buying or is it not worth buying? If you're trying to figure out what the actual car payment would be, just as a last thing before I send you off to figure this whole thing out, just to give you some sense about what a $20,000 car or $20,000 purchase price would be as a finance payment over a course of 60 months, let's do out the math. This is also assuming that you're giving all your taxes and fees up front for 60 months at 4.99%. That's if you get 4.99% from the bank. And if you can get way less than that, then that's fantastic. 20 grand at 60 months at 4.99 would be $377 a month. And that's assuming you're paying taxes and fees up front. If the purchase price of the vehicle is $30,000 or you decide to get a warranty and you do whatever, your payment comes out to $566 a month. 40 grand, similarly, $755 a month. So folks, I really hope that you could sort of wrap your head around exactly how to figure out if it's worth getting. I'll do a separate video to figure out if it's worth getting it based off of the actual long-term history of the car, what the longevity of the car looks like for you. And if you need pricing on a brand new or used vehicle, you can use my website right here, negotiationguides.com, to connect with dealerships in your local area, not even just for new cars, but you can connect with them for used cars as well. If you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Don't hit this box, hit the box on the bottom right corner. You hit it and it just confetti goes all over the place. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.